Welcome to Avian Specialty Inc.'s Facebook Live event. Today we're talking about discharge and its effect on different fabrics. For today's prints, we've selected 3 samples: a straight discharge base, discharge white, and discharge yellow. And for our print substrates, we've selected a variety of fabrics, mostly 100% cotton, different colors. We had some blends and some tri-blends. We want to see how these 3 samples will be affected by the fabric and by the dyes in the colors. We'll start with the pure base first. It's activated. You see it's very creamy. And as we start to print, we are printing at 1 flood, 1 stroke. In this case, it's a 125 mesh. And as you can see, when discharge printed, you don't really see the effect right away. And each color looks a little different. Some of these fabrics, you don't even see the print at all. As we load it in the oven, we're putting it through at 325 degrees for 1 minute and 30 seconds. As they go into the oven, you can see the print. And as they come out, you'll see a variety of different effects depending on the fabric. So you can see a blend won't do as well. In some cases, 100% cotton will do very well depending on the dye. And then when you have a blend or a recycled fabric, you'll have a variety of different looks. So when someone asks if discharge works on specific fabrics or colors, most of the time you say as long as there's cotton involved, something's going to happen. The extent of that reaction is going to depend on the fabric makeup. For instance, if there is some polyester involved, 50-50, you may end up with kind of a heather look. If the dye itself isn't reactive, it's not going to react as good as a purely reactive dye. And you can see some of these colors do very well. Our next ink is the discharge white. So you'll be able to see a difference between the base and the white going onto a fabric. Well, obviously you're going to be able to see the white discharge better on these fabrics, as there is some white pigment involved. You won't have the full discharged look until it goes through the oven. But again, we're putting on the same fabrics, putting it right underneath the base. As they go in, you can see the ink sitting on top of the garment. And obviously it's not very opaque, but as they come out, you'll see some improvement on the color. Even though they're not totally discharging, you have a really nice look and feel. And we'll compare some of these later to show you the differences. So if you're not looking at a pure white, in this case it's 50-50, you can actually see a heather look. You get a good print, but it's not necessarily what your customer might expect. It's a good idea to have prints like this around your shop, say 100% cotton black versus 100% cotton blue or purple, which doesn't do as well. Then a 50-50 or a tri-blend. Sometimes tri-blends come out very nice because if the cotton is what's dyed, it will discharge it. If it's the polyester that's dyed, it will not come out very nicely. So a pure 50-50 will give you that heather look. Some pure heathers, though, will actually give you a really nice, bright white look. So the white kind of masks some of the problems you might have with discharging. If you notice the blue, you have the base is actually a gray, so the white's not going to be 100% white. Same with the purple. And it will affect the color. Red is traditionally very good at discharging on 100% cotton. Green is not, so you have a little bit of a tint to that white. And then of course over dye are traditionally terrible. You can tell where the base hasn't done anything and the white is just kind of sitting on top. You might even see a difference between two black 100% cotton fabrics. One will be a lot better than the other. Here's another over dye example. Even though it's a very nice soft print, it's just not 100% white. And this is maybe good for some customers. Just have to show them and set expectations with your customers. So we're going to do the yellow because I wanted to show you how a color is affected by this fabrics. If it doesn't discharge well on red, it's going to end up being orange. But as you can see, as we're laying it down, it's just soaking on top of the garment. Same as before, we're putting them right next to each other so you can compare them in one view. And here we are going through the same process, curing it. All the fabrics will react differently. And you'll be able to see a little bit more with the yellow. Here's a good black. It's coming out nice. You can see on this blend, not very nice. Maroon. You'll see some graininess in the recycled fabric. Pretty inconsistent. Even though it's still a nice reaction, it may not be what your customers are expecting. So when I hear these or general questions about does discharge work on this fabric, the easy answer is yes, but to what extent is what you need to know. I always recommend that when someone is selling discharge, they should do something like this. They should put 2 or 3 colors, a white and a base, on one side of a shirt with their logo, and have that ready to show customers when they come in. So when they do ask for royal, you'll say, this is what it's going to look like. Is that okay? If it's not, then you look for maybe a navy or something that's going to discharge a little bit better. Or maybe they have to choose a 100% cotton shirt over a 50-50. Either way, it does hold color. It's just the look that you're looking for can change drastically between fabrics. And here's a great example. Over dyes just don't do it. Here's some quick examples. The good discharges on the left, the other fabrics are on the right. As you can see, you do get a reaction, but they're quite different. It's between 2 100% cottons. Here's the over dye. Here's a good red, good 100% cotton red. Here's a blue, 100% cotton blue. It just doesn't do it well. Same with the purple. Not getting the full color, but you are getting a reaction. So the point here is not to make assumptions about what's going to work. Try to test it and set expectations so your customer knows what they're going to receive. Thank you for joining us. See you next week.